It is hot out here today. We're going to do the very first MVS recording with this camera, and that is going to be on this 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLS 450. The Benz that I wanted to do, unfortunately, is out of service at the time being. It needs some work on the battery. So I've never done a GLS. We're going to do this one today. So let's get started. So another thing that I think is going to be awesome about this camera is the fact that it has the enhanced steady shot, which means the shaking is probably not going to be even remotely close to what I've had to deal with before with the other camera. Because the other camera had steady shot, but this seems like a much more improved version, obviously. Plus the fact that it's lighter too, my hand won't be as tired when I'm trying to, hold the camera for so long. So that's another major plus, and that's probably going to help with less shaking also. We'll go over this way. Get a little closer. Oh, guys, I am so sweaty I should not even be inside of a Mercedes. Hey! Get out of my car, I'm trying to film. What are you? Dude, fly! All he does is sticks to everything. Sheesh. Here's the shot that I'm excited to see, guys. Is the backseat dashboard shot. Oh, already it looks awesome. Okay, get the camera back on. Look at that. I can go one sweep. The one nice thing that I really think is very interesting when it comes to certain Benz models, I've had a lot that did it and I've had a lot that hasn't done it, but the hood on a lot of these go up at a higher angle for service reasons. It makes it a little bit easier to get under there. So right now it's positioned at the service, position, and you can bring it down some, and when it goes up, it stops there. So that would be your normal, hood position there. That's one thing I always thought was kind of neat about the Benz cars. And cut. Alright, so that finishes up the very first segment that I filmed with this camera. And might I add, sit here, it's a little low, but might I add that I actually didn't have to worry about my battery dying and stuff too, because the battery on the old one was on its way out. So to actually be able to film like I used to and take my time with the footage and stuff is going to probably make for a much better feature. So as I said, I've been trying to find ways to make MVS better, and I'm able to find ways to cut out some parts, so I'm kind of working my scripting around other editing procedures, so it's making it a lot better. Like the Ford Edge when I did that, I'm surprised, which is actually, it's actually still here. I'm looking at it now. But it turned out to be like 15 minutes long, and that's actually one of the shortest features that I've had, and I still feel like I was able to put in the information that I've been adding over, you know, so long, like for over a long period of time, and I was able to make it work. So I'm gonna keep doing it that way, but I'm gonna go home now and eat because I'm starving. So plus this thing is really low on gas, and I don't want this thing to break down in the parking lot. That's embarrassing. So it's time to go home. Now let's get to why I named this video the name that I gave it. What is this? It's like a feather or something. Ugh. I basically, you know, I'm really excited that I obviously, if you can't tell already, I'm excited about having the camera, the new camera, and it just feels good to actually, you know, again, trying to get back into the spirit of Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, to start going out and filming and stuff like that again. And it's even better with this camera because I kind of feel like it's kind of changing things up a bit. For 7 years, you know, Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for the most part has had the same kind of quality and same angles and stuff. This camera, I think, is going to change some of that just from what I was able to film today, and I'm really glad that I was able to do this. So finally, I wish I'd done it sooner, but you know, my saying is, you know, if it's not broke, you know, why get rid of it? And especially when it came to the camera, I was happy with it, but it broke now. So I guess I had to find a replacement. So we're getting back into the features and stuff like that, and you know, obviously a lot of things that I film, like 99% of the things that I end up filming, turn into Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. Every car that I have done, you know, obviously turns into Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. But there is one car that I started to film and I never got to finish. So we're gonna go back in time a little bit, and actually I'm going to pull up the actual file for the video footage, and because it's been saved for so long, it is dated November 19th of 2012. That shows you that this was a long time ago. This was actually within year number 2 of Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. On this day, on November 19th of 2012, I went to film the feature for the 2012 Dodge Charger SRT. After that shoot, I actually had the opportunity to film a 2010 Dodge Viper ACR. This car is actually the owner's personal Viper that they were letting me film. In the warehouse part of this dealership sits this 2010 Dodge Viper ACR, and I was so excited that they gave me permission to go ahead and film this car. The only problem with it at the time was that it did not have a good battery, and the battery, I don't know if there was just something wrong with it or if it was just completely dead, but regardless, I couldn't really do anything with it. I couldn't start it up, and I barely had enough power to even honestly get into the car. And plus it was in the warehouse. We couldn't drive it out. From the angle, you couldn't push it out. So I just figured I was going to try to make the best out of this situation, because here in front of me is this 2010 Dodge Viper ACR, and it's a beautiful white color with the black stripes. It's got these black rims with red brake calipers. It's got the huge wing in the back. It's just a beautiful car, and it was honestly my first encounter with a Dodge Viper. So you can just kind of understand from my perspective, you know, given the opportunity to film a vehicle that was this exotic, and a vehicle that has always been one of my favorite cars ever since I was a child, you know, hey, I've been given the keys to a Viper, and I get to go inside of it. I can just kind of film all this stuff, you know, with it. But the problem that I was having, of course, was, you know, it being in this warehouse. The lighting obviously is not the best, and especially on the inside when the battery is dead and stuff, there's no lighting, you know, so it's dark. And you know, again, I was trying to look past that, and my ex-girlfriend was with me, and she was being obnoxious. I was honestly just kind of getting frustrated. Like I was halfway through the shoot, and I turned the camera off, and I was like, I don't know if I feel like doing this. This is just not going to be a good video if I keep doing it this way. But I was like, well, you know, maybe just in case. So I went on to proceed. I went to proceed to film, you know, most of the outside. I really didn't do any good front end shots, and I ended up filming real quick the interior of the car, even though nothing was really functional. I filmed the back, but by then, you know, I was just like, maybe I'm just gonna have to come back and do this another day, because it just didn't feel right. I couldn't start it up. You guys couldn't hear the engine and exhaust notes. You couldn't see, you know, the gauges in full function. You couldn't really see or you know, experience anything that I got to experience during the time that I was filming it. So I didn't even look under the hood, which honestly I wish I had now, but I didn't even open the hood to look at it. So the plan was, you know, I was gonna go back to film it. The one manager there said that they were gonna put it on the charge, and then that way, you know, they'll let me know when a good time to film it would be. Just because it just wasn't. I guess it takes a while for these cars to charge with, you know, how big the engines are and such. You're going to need a really good power supply, you know, obviously, to get it cranked over. But, you know, it just turned out that I never had the opportunity to film it again. Now, I do believe it is still at this dealership in the warehouse. I've seen it brought outside numerous times over, you know, the years. I mean, you got to figure this was filmed 5 years ago, and I know it's still around. So maybe if the opportunity precedes itself again, I could maybe film it, you know, for a later MVS if I'm wanting to go back to, you know, doing a few older used cars or such. So we can do it then, just, you know, because of how exotic it is. Or I could just simply do a vlog about it instead, and we'll do like a live tour on it, I guess. So that being said, everything that you saw was basically all of the footage that I have of this 2010 Dodge Viper ACR. And that's, I'm pretty sure, the only car that I've ever really not completed in all of the years that I've done Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. I purposely kept the footage on my hard drive just in case anything were to ever come up of it, and nothing really did until now. So I figured, hey, I'm just going to get it out there, let's go ahead and turn it into a vlog. So obviously, if I end up getting the opportunity to film this car again, I'm going to start from scratch. It'll be outside, it'll be running, and we can actually proceed to look at this in a normal Mike's Vehicle Spotlight fashion. But I thought it'd be cool to like I said, incorporate this footage just to show you what it is. And it's an interesting story, knowing that there's one car that I've had in my collection that I've never finished putting together. Every time you do that, you're making everything dim. I think what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to maybe run to my brother's and drop his Canon PowerShot camera back off. This is mine, by the way. I should probably take this off before I get back. This is his camera, and I have his box. He actually packaged the camera for me the way that it was when he got it himself, so I have to repackage it. It's 8 o'clock and it's still 90 degrees outside. Oh man. So, a little fun fact, this band is actually the band that I was in high school, called Eccentrophobia. So what I'm listening to now is actually us in 2006, which means I had just graduated high school, and I was actually in the band, well, we were a band for almost 3 years, and, wrong street, and then, in 2007, we just kind of disbanded. I was in an actual band, other than Amateurs Like Champions, but this was my high school band, and I just love how this CD came out. The guy who recorded this, we recorded this at a studio in Akron, Ohio, and the studio was actually in a duplex. So he lived on the one side, and then his studio was next door. But it was so exciting because we were actually in a real studio for the first time, and then it was just a really fun experience. And this guy made my guitars, and he just made all of us sound great. And guess what? Tyler's not home. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. You know, we finally got our very first Mike's Vehicle Spotlight feature filmed with this camera, and like I said, just from filming it and looking through the viewfinder and just kind of seeing how everything looks through the eyes of this brand new camera, I am so excited for you guys to see it. It kind of gives a lot of the old scenes and such some new perspective. It's going to look a lot more professional, I think, and I'm really happy to do that. And I got to tell you guys about the one car that I never got to finish for Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, so there's that. So thanks again for watching, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you enjoy any other content on this channel, don't forget to also comment and subscribe, and check out Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, the official vehicle touring segment that I post here on this channel. The new videos, you know, they're going to be out every Saturday again. It's going to, you know, it'll take me a little while to get back into that swing, but, you know, like I said, there's a lot more to actually look at from the past. I've got tons and tons of videos to look at. And of course, you can also look at the vlogs if you're looking for something else to see on the channel. So there's a lot to choose from. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. Take care. Oh yeah, just from filming this at this angle and such, it's definitely a good test to see how it's going to look when I actually go to film the actual cars.